Lucky to have a guest today, Josh Fabello, JFab, who is my director of operations on my real estate team, joining me today to talk about all things real estate. And it's been quite an eventful period of time in real estate. A lot of luxury stuff going on in Tampa Bay. We're starting to be this force for luxury real estate across the country, getting more and more people moving here from, Cali, New York, even some from the Midwest, some Chicago, a lot of the Northeast, people moving here, for the climate, for the economics, for the politics. One of the things I saw this week in the luxury market was a house on Lake Sasa for $115 million. I believe it would be the highest priced property in Tampa Bay history. I remember looking at the property and thinking, a few years ago it sold, and I want to say it sold for around like 15. And I don't remember the exact price, but I remember looking at it and thinking that I can swing this. And, at the same time, it's like I live, on the water on Bayshore, and I was like, if I sold and then I moved there, and then if I did this, I could make it happen. And now that piece of property has gone bonkers in price. I mean, that's a 8x almost from, I think, where it was last listed. But yeah, $115 million. They did improve it. They did grow it. They added land. They bought an additional parcel. It's an enormous parcel, but it has like this enormous garage, a go-kart track. It's on the lake. It's got like a guest house, an incredible pool, and truly like an incredible property. If it sells anywhere near 115, which look, if it does, amazing, because that's just going to pull up everyone's luxury values in Tampa Bay. But it's got to be somebody from somewhere else that's like looked at Miami and thought, oh, let me buy $100 million in Miami. And then they're like, yeah, but if I move here to Lake Sasa, I've got how many acres? Do you have it pulled up right now?
No, I don't have it pulled up yet.
Again, it's a completely different property than what someone's going to look at from Miami. It's somebody that wants some land, that wants to be out in the country a little bit, but that is close. And realistically, that's what's happened with our luxury market. You've seen our prices rise. You've seen some of these really high-end Davis Island sales. The Vinix sold their property on the golf course this week a record sale for a non-waterfront, property. I remember going there for a dinner. When we first started the Lightning deal, I got invited to a dinner at their house.
Really?
So I went to the Vinix house, and they are truly incredible people. Like they're both the nicest. And Mr. Vinnick just wanted to ask me questions. I felt like I couldn't get a question in. He was asking me all kinds of real estate questions because this is like at the beginning of him looking at Water Street and the discussions about the development. So all he did was ask me a million questions, and I wanted to ask him a bunch of questions. But I was able to get a few of them in, but I found it interesting because I ended up following their protocol a little bit. They bought their house, and then the house next door went up for sale. And they didn't really need the house, but they just liked the idea of having a guest house and not having someone right on top of them. So they just bought it too. Kept it empty, used it for a guest house, but literally bought the great big mansion right next door just to keep other people from buying it. And so it's funny, like when I bought my property on Bayshore, I ended up following the same approach, and I bought all the lots around me. And it wasn't necessarily from that conversation with them. There was maybe a little bit of that contributed to it. There was a little bit of that's actually a really good idea. Maybe I should buy this so that somebody doesn't build next to me, or so I don't have some jerk neighbor. So I ended up buying all the lots around me. There were houses on some, and I, tore the houses down and now have, just kind of vacant land. But interestingly, that conversation I had with them and, even asking them like, oh, you guys bought the house next door, and hearing their explanation about it was like, they're like, look, it's golf frontage. It's South Tampa. Yep. It's not going to drop in value, and it adds a massive amount of convenience to our life to give us this extra space and to not have the risk of getting some, person that's going to invade our privacy and be taking pictures of our pool from their bedroom. And, and I was like, oh, that's actually a really good idea. And then as the parcels around my property became available, I just started, picking them off. Yeah. So similar strategy. But anyway, the Lake Sasa property, it's going to be one of those like sales that if it happens, it's going to obviously be super newsworthy. It would be the first $100+ million sale that for residential. Now, obviously we've had parcels and, we've had developments. We've had sales in that range that were land, commercial properties, developments. But a residential property to hit that number, Tampa Bay hasn't had. So it'll be the first time. And if somebody would have asked me like, hey, what residential property. Describe the residential property in Tampa that you think is going to hit above 100 million. That's not what I would have described.
We're not going Lake the Notisassa.
I would have described, beachfront, oceanfront, maybe even seeing the Jeter estate get to that number someday, right? Like if you look down in South Florida, the majority of the homes going anywhere near that are waterfront. You're talking open water frontage. So nonetheless, it is kind of cool. It is interesting to see some of those properties unique to Tampa Bay that are not like what you would expect a $100 million property to sell for are going on the market. And I really hope it gets a number. I hope it finds the right buyer. I think it is truly an incredible property. Like it really is.
I mean, for that price, it's great.
Yeah. But whether or not it gets that number is
even if it's close, which is a great reminder, they should give us a call. They need to be representation.
Correct. Yeah. If you're thinking about buying, just so you know, if you're thinking about buying the state that hit 115 million, we would be happy to serve you.
We'd love to help you with that transaction.
It's just a sign that this migration to Tampa is continuing, right? Like you've got, and it's an 87-acre compound. 4-story main home, more than 36,000 square feet, 6 bedrooms, 12 full baths, 14 half baths. 6 bedrooms? Like, come on, don't you want more kids with 36,000 square feet? 6 bedrooms isn't enough. I got 6 bedrooms. Come on, bro.
All right, how many car garages are there?
It's palatial.
There we go.
It's palatial. Yeah, in fact, it says designed to house up to 22 vehicles, but the cool part about their garage, and this is what I'm going to do in my next spot, is that all of the cars can pull out without having to move anything. Whereas, like at my house, I've got to move cars around to get to
car Tetris.
Yeah, I have to do car Tetris to move stuff out. The owner does have Ford GT in the pictures. There's a new version of the Ford GT and an older, the 0506 yellow with black stripes. So the owner has an epic car collection that I definitely love very much. Really is a sign that the luxury movement that's coming to Florida, the amount of money that's coming to this state, that's moving from these other areas that are, like I saw the New York City mayor go out and attack King Griffin, the guy that runs Citadel. He's got that. He's put so much money into New York. He's got facilities, business. He's doing a new build out, and he gets attacked by the mayor because he has a $200 million penthouse and they want to tax it more.
Got to get it. Got to get that money off that.
Well, not just that, but they politicize. The mayor actually went out and said his name, and it's like, man, do you not get economics? And so what's happening is these cities and counties and states that are going after people that are billionaires and hitting them with these taxes, they're just going to move. I think most people, when I hear people say things like, well, shouldn't they pay their fair share? I'm not somebody who wants to skate on taxes. I've personally paid millions of dollars in taxes. But what I will say is that I think over the last few years, there's been a loss of faith in how that money's being used. If you believed that they were being a good steward of the money, right, and they were really, truly, genuinely helping people and not, doing these NGOs and pet projects and, lining the pockets of other countries and these crazy studies that they're doing with taxes.
Wasteful spending.
I think it's so wasteful. I think that most of these cities, counties, and our country need way more than capital investments or, way more than tax revenue. It's making the tax revenue efficient. Because here's what you're going to do. You're taking billionaires who are creative financially, who can hire the CPAs. They can figure out how to avoid the taxes that you're trying to charge. You're not really going to get them. You're going to talk a big game and you're going to go on TV and say, we're going to tax this guy and we're going to tax that guy. He's got accountants on his payroll that are better than your accountants.
Right.
And he's going to end up finding a way to avoid those things, or he's going to move. He's going to take his business and his money with him. And truthfully, who they're really hurting are the people that need those jobs. People don't understand the effect that happens if the billionaire that's got a couple thousand employees says, you know what, this guy's attacking me.
I'm relocating.
I'm going to move my business to Florida. And it's exactly what's happened. And that's what's been the boom for our luxury real estate market. Yep. There's more of those people moving here because they look at it and say, okay, forget the $200 million penthouse in New York. I can buy a $50 million place on the beach in Miami, and I can cut out the millions that I'm paying in these city and state taxes and get all the benefits of Florida. So and I think what a lot of people also don't get is the long-term benefit of what that'll mean for our economy. So when those people move here, they're going to move their businesses and their jobs, and they're going to move employees here, and then those are going to be home sales. And then there's this effect of all this revenue that comes to our country and our state. I think
it's
people
really
just don't
evident in our business too. is that I can tell you, like, looking at all the data. So we always do every week. We look at all the data that comes in for our listings and our high-end listings. I can tell you without a doubt, over 25-30% of online views is coming from New York, the state of New York.
Yeah.
After
100%.
Florida and Miami, focusedly, people are looking in Miami to come to Tampa.
Yep.
It's New York is the next area.
Yep.
Consistently over 25%.
And I've mentioned this before too. We're starting to see a little bit of California. 10 years ago,
Yep.
the only time we saw Cali moves was, PCS to McDale from somewhere out west. That's
Another
it.
base,
Like that's all we'd see. Now there's plenty of people that are just tired of it and looking at, man, look at all I pay, and I drive around all these homeless people and do it. And I think the people generally, especially the people that are attacking successful people and saying pay their fair share, they pay the majority of taxes.
They do.
The majority of taxes are paid by the top 10% of earners. But then secondly, it's a loss. The country has lost the faith of those people, and those cities and counties have lost the faith of those people, that the people that they're paying their taxes to are a good steward of the money.
Yep.
So now they say, look, I'll give to charity, but then I get to control where it goes. I'll help bless people.
Right.
Like I want to help people. I'm not trying to just pile up money. I want to help people,
Yep.
but I don't believe that they're going to do a good job of helping people. I would much rather you figure out a way to be the direct provider of the help.
Yep.
So I know that the money is being used in ways that isn't going to some stupid pet project.
So true.
And I think that that's what is going to fuel our economy. And Governor DeSantis has done an incredible job. I hope the next guy does as good of a job. But our luxury real estate market, the people, like when you look at our stats right now, there's a lot of weight to our market in the luxury market, more than there has been before. And I think it will eventually benefit, over a period of time. It's going to benefit everything in the economy, but it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. But all the things that are happening in Florida, I think, are I'm very optimistic about our real estate market.